What's good, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. As today we will be recapping the Kansas City Chiefs going into the Washington football team. But before we do any of that, you already know this is the Water Boys channel, so please do subscribe and like this video. We'll give you updated NFL news and rumors and updated Chiefs recaps throughout the season. And with that, let's dive right into this game. Kansas City defeats Washington football team by the final score of a 31-13. Now, the score doesn't really indicate the whole game because the second half, mainly from the mid-third quarter all the way through the end of the game, is when they took over. But if you go from the first quarter, second quarter, and then the beginning of the third, it was a game we were used to seeing from this season with the Chiefs from the first 6 weeks. Is a bunch of struggles, a bunch of turnovers, and I'm not actually going to put the defense at fault a lot because they've actually played really strong in this game, which was quite surprising. It was a good surprise as well. Hopefully they can carry on throughout the season. But the first drive was a tale of good signs to see. They scored a touchdown right away. It was a nice long drive. Williams punches it in at the end. Unfortunate thing was Fortson, he did have a great catch. It was like a 30-yard catch, but in the third quarter, it looks like he might have tore his Achilles. Hopefully it's not the worst, but he is a big part of our offense. He was developing more gameplay, and kind of sucks because we all know his story. He was a very good tight end coming up and learning the tight end position, and now hopefully his season isn't over, but that's what it's looking for. So hopefully speedy recovery to him. But that does mean that now we will see the likes of Noah Gray, who we all raved about in the draft. Hopefully he does pan out very well. He did play a lot too, but that's because Blake Bell was out, and then you have Fortson getting injured. But as well, he didn't see the ball, and he played mostly the blocking tight end position. I'd have to look back on the film if it did factor, if he did do really well. Blocking did help a lot. Williams did have a really strong game. He had 2 touchdowns. That was a good asset for the team. We thought, a lot of people thought maybe with Allaire out that Williams might be a backup to where it would struggle, but not the case. He's a power back. It helps out with the offense a lot. But let's dive more into the second quarter and the end of the first quarter, because honestly, if I was just watching those 2 quarters, it looked like KC was going to edge out another loss to a team that they should not lose to. They struggled. The offense fell off completely after that first drive. And it's not like the defense wasn't playing bad, but you don't want to keep having the defense on the field, and that's what was the case. And at halftime, the score was 13-10. And it looked like Washington was just in control, and you just didn't know what was going to come in the second half. And going into it, there was 3 turnovers again on the day, which needs to be cut down because a 31-13 type of game, and all 3 turnovers were on the opponent's side of the 50, which means those are at least touchdowns. And if you had another 21 points on the board, that's a 50-point game. That just shows you how crazy this team can be offensively. 3 turnovers and they still score 31 points. That's a crazy outcome. But one was inside the 5 where Mahomes threw an interception, but it was all Tyreek Hill's fault. Again, it bounced right off his gloves, and that would have been an easy touchdown drive. That takes 7 off the board. And then one, probably the worst interception I've ever seen by any quarterback. I don't know what Mahomes is doing. We never see him make those plays, but this year he has been making those plays. I don't know if it's because he feels like he has too much on his shoulders or what, but it's like he's being forced down. He usually takes a sack or throws it away, but he just like punted the ball with his hand, and it landed right in the linebacker's lap. It was way too easy of a pick. That didn't go into any points just because it was coming down to the end. I don't think that did. I'd have to recall. And then Hardman's been playing better, but he had an end around, and it was just careless ball carrying. He had the ball like pointed up, and it was easy to be punched out, and that's what happened. But if you eliminate those, they still won the game. But if you eliminate those, you're back to the team everyone expects. The defense is back to normal as well. Well, not normal, but let's just hope it's not a Washington football team that they took advantage of, because next week they verse Tennessee, which I'd love to see, because you got Julio Jones, you got A.J. Brown, and Derrick Henry is going to be the main factor. If they can slow them down, maybe this defense did hit the cornerstone and turn around. Let's talk about the defense a little bit as well, because Clark ended up getting pressure towards the end of the game. Even though Heineke had an amazing scramble rolled over him, Matthew came off the blitz. They both got pressure. It was really good. Mike Dana, he's probably the best pass rusher on the team, which is crazy coming from a 5th-round pick. I think he recorded another sack. And then Wharton had an amazing interception at the end of the game, which everything was sealed, but he basically pinned it up against the lineman's head and took it off. It was a great read off of a screen pass. You love to see it. What was really exciting, too, as well, was Thornhill being out there. A lot of people wouldn't see a lot if you watch the game or even the box scores as well, but his speed makes a difference. He made a lot of key tackles that ended up being at the line or a 2 yard gain, or even one was a loss. That's something Sorensen wasn't doing, and as he eases back into this role, I think he'll be a big factor as well. I do like seeing Sorensen out there as well because you play Matthew and Thornhill, and then you have Sorensen in the box. He had a couple of blitzes. None of them hit home, but it gives you a different factor for the blitz. I think that's the route you need to run. And as well, I think Charvarius Ward lost his job because Rashad Fenton, back-to-back weeks, he's been playing outstanding. He's been locking down his guys. He's hard to get a completion on, and you love to see that as well. And Snead, he's coming into what we've seen his rookie year as well. So it looks like the defense is slowly making that turnaround, and hopefully it sticks because this team really needs it in the long haul. Because if we're going to make a playoff push or even a division title push, which I'll get into at the end of this video, we need that defense to step up. Let's talk a little bit about the offense. They had a huge turnaround as well. They come out like stagnant, and like I thought they needed to make a statement. They didn't. Washington took over, and Casey's defense held, and then that's when things just turned around. Mahomes was being Mahomes. He was getting comfortable. He was making shovel passes. He made a couple off-script throws, a couple off-script runs, and that was the Mahomes we were used to seeing because we didn't know if we were going to see that in this game because going back in the second quarter when he threw that interception, it was just like, damn, he's just not himself. He's not comfortable whatsoever. But that's the Mahomes you want to see. You want to see him comfortable where he can make those plays because those off-script throws are what we usually feel are guaranteed, and we just haven't felt that this year. And even in this game, it wasn't felt. But the flick of the wrist, and then even on the one that was called back on the 3rd and 5 when he threw it across body to Hill, that was still a unique and great throw as well. And then Robinson actually showed up as well, scoring a 25-yard touchdown. He had a couple key catches at the end of the game, which helped put the dagger in the football team. Was great to see. He actually looked like, I know it's just one game, but it looked like he progressed. He wasn't running backwards. He was making catches. As for Josh Gordon, we didn't see too much. He actually got pulled probably because there was a screen pass, and then he made a terrible block. Actually, he didn't make a block, which Hill probably could have sprung something, but he let the guy tackle him. It's just something he'll learn from the playbook and scheming-wise how KC runs their screens. Not a good look, not a great way to get you extra plays, but, hey, he'll see the field probably more in Tennessee as well. At least we can hope going down because we're forcing now. Kelsey got banged up, but he kept playing as well, so that was good to see. I wish they kind of pulled him so he didn't get hurt, but, hey, he was making his plays. He was doing what he needed to do. Now, this one was huge in every asset because if you guys watched, the Ravens blew out the Chargers, which means they took a loss. And then you got the Broncos and Raiders. Whoever loses, they'll be tied with us for third and last in the division. So that would leave a one-game separation from first place in the division. As crazy as this season has been, this was a huge win. It keeps us in hunt for the division title because anything is in play now. So it's going to be crazy to see how this all pans out. Like I said, at half, I was expecting to have a different type of video. I'm not confident still in this team whatsoever because until those turnovers get cut down, which they haven't, they're averaging like 2 or 3 a game, which is hurting them a lot. It's hurt them in the Chargers game. It's hurt them in the Ravens game. Those could have been 2 wins easily, and they should be like a 5-1 team. But here we are at 3-3, 500. We're still fighting to be strong. Let's just see how it pans out. But with that being said, we do play Tennessee next week. Like I said, it's going to be a tough matchup. It's a very winnable game. I projected after they lost to the Chargers that I do see them losing this game. But let me see how they play against Buffalo because anything can happen. And if this defense turns it around and this offense can cut down the turnovers, KC can easily win that game. Let me know down below how you see KC doing throughout the season, how you see them doing next week against Tennessee. And with that being said, I will cut off this quick reaction. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Like this video. It helps us out oh so much. And with that being said, take care and enjoy the rest of your football Sunday.